Now, I would like to talk with you about two very dangerous forms of gaslighting that you need to look out for, that we all need to look out for, not only in narcissistic abuse, but just in life in general. The goal of this video is to be able to help you to identify when you're experiencing gaslighting, and so you can know how to handle the situation. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I get into this message, I want to let you know that I am taking one-on-one appointments. Down in the description box, you will find access to my calendar where you can schedule some one-on-one time with me. So head on down there after this video. Now, there are, in fact, a lot of ways in which gaslighting can occur, and we know the term gaslighting because of narcissistic abuse. However, are you aware that gaslighting is typically happening all around us all the time? And so I want to share with you at least two gaslighting methods that we experience quite a bit, but we don't oftentimes look at it as gaslighting. And so after this video, well, hopefully you will, and you'll know how to respond appropriately. The first type of gaslighting that is very dangerous that we often come across is invalidation. Everybody say that with me, invalidation. Now, this is the most common referred to gaslighting experience that you have in narcissistic abuse or in toxic relationships. Invalidation is invalidating your concerns, your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs. And now, this is the most typical thing that we come across, and I'll give you an example of invalidation. Invalidation would be when you know that something is wrong in the relationship that you're experiencing. Perhaps you just experienced some narcissistic rage. You know the person is upset. You know something is wrong. And so you want to go and confront the situation in a healthy way. Why wouldn't you? You were just raged at. And so you're going to bring up your concern. And probably in a way that's like this: hey, is everything okay? I want to make sure that we're all right. And when you are in an abusive relationship with a narcissist, the response will typically be, yeah, everything's fine. What are you talking about? And you will say, well, you seem kind of angry. No, I'm not angry. You're crazy. I'm not angry. I'll let you know when I'm angry, okay? That right there is called invalidation. It's invalidating your concerns, which are genuine, right? Who wouldn't be concerned after they are raged at? Right? So you have a valid concern, but it's invalidated by a toxic narcissistic person who is pretending that nothing happened. This is a very dangerous form of gaslighting because it does, in fact, start to make you feel like you're going crazy. You're thinking, wait a minute, I know you are upset. Why won't you tell me what the reason is? Why won't you just talk with me about it? Well, because gaslighting. In toxic relationships, narcissistic people don't want you to think that there's anything wrong with them. They would rather you believe that you're just crazy. And oftentimes this is what happens, and it keeps you stuck in the relationship. But that's not where invalidation begins and ends. We experience invalidation all the time, maybe with certain types of things that you may not want to put into your body. Maybe at some point in life before you started drinking or smoking, and maybe you were concerned and you had genuine, valid concerns, but people around you were going, no, that's dumb, that's silly. What are you concerned about? Nothing bad. Everybody does this, right? The further down that path we go, we get into what's typically called peer pressure, but it in fact is invalidation. It's invalidating your genuine, authentic concerns that each and every one of us are born with out of our own discernment. And this can break down our walls, our boundaries very, very quickly around people. It's called gaslighting. And now this should open up a whole new realm of gaslighting in your world so that you can know how to identify when somebody is invalidating your genuine concerns in life, things that you would rather not get involved in, and you're looking for validation, because a healthy person will be able to say, okay, you have concerns? Let's talk about your concerns. At the very least, a healthy person will ask you, help me understand your concerns better. right? So when you're just being met with, I don't know what you're talking about, you're crazy. That's gaslighting. Or you have nothing to worry about. Your concerns are invalid. It's invalidation. It's gaslighting. All right? So you can take that. I also encourage you down in the comment section, by the way, leave your examples of how you were invalidated in a gaslighting experience. All right, now let's move on to the next one that's not as common, but just as important and just as dangerous. And this is called prompting. Prompting. Everybody say that with me. Prompting. Prompting comes in the form of leading questions and leading statements. And it's actually a real thing. As a matter of fact, in legal circuses or courtrooms or whatever, they often use this as a tactic, as a matter of fact, to pin people into certain directions, right? Prompting is exactly what it sounds like. It's wanting to get a desired and specific answer or response or view out of you. And yes, narcissistically abusive people do this in toxic relationships. Whether they know they're doing it on purpose or it just comes out of them, it doesn't matter. The point is, you need to understand when you are being prompted, when you are dealing with a leading question, for example. Let me give you an example of a leading question that I received in a toxic relationship. This was after I was trying to distance myself because I realized the relationship was getting very toxic, getting very hostile. And for whatever reason, I was having difficulty because of the dynamic of the relationship. So I would have to go back in every now and then. One of the comments I received is a leading question. It was this: you miss being here, don't you? Right? This is a perfect example of a leading question. You miss being here. It's putting in a thought into your mind. It's projecting a thought into you that you never had, and then asking a question that supports that thought. You miss being here, don't you? You can also hear things like, you like that type of stuff, don't you? You like it when people call you names, don't you? You like causing problems, don't you? These are called leading questions, planting a thought inside of you, and then a question that supports that thought. These thoughts are thoughts that don't come from you. They're not thoughts that you have. Again, in my personal experience, I was trying to get away, but it caught me off guard with this thought that was being thrown onto me, a leading question, right? A thought that was thrown onto me, followed by a question that supports that thought. Now, there's also leading statements. Leading statements are just as damaging as leading questions. A leading statement would be, if you really don't like this relationship, then you should leave, but you won't. That is a perfect example of a leading statement. It has the facade of giving you independence, but it's telling you what you will and won't do. So the purpose of leading questions, the purpose of leading statements, the purpose of prompting you is to, in fact, strip you away of your independence. Because in toxic relationships or anywhere you experience the gaslighting technique of prompting, it's not about you and what you really want or your true thoughts. It's about you conforming to what is needed by the toxic individuals around you. So be on the lookout in relationships in general, in the world in general, for leading questions, leading statements. It is, in fact, gaslighting. Now, for those of you who have experienced gaslighting in the form of prompting, leave your example down in the description box. Share it with others so that we can gather more information about prompting as a form of gaslighting. And yes, all of this is, in fact, a form of gaslighting, which gaslighting is meant to separate you from yourself in effort to gain control over you as an individual, stripping you away of your authenticity, stripping you away of your independence, and putting you in this place of being malleable and controllable. So we want to be able to identify when we are experiencing gaslighting, not only toxic relationships, but anywhere, and know how to get out of the situation. You can stand back. You don't have to play along. You don't have to listen. You can walk away. Even if you don't have a response at the moment, that's fine. Just get up and walk away. Don't listen to it. Pay it no attention. That discomfortable or uncomfortable feeling of disgust that you have in these situations is there for a reason. Listen to that feeling and get out, right? Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below in the description box is access to my one-on-one calendar. You can set up a FaceTime, WhatsApp, or a telephone call. Also down below is access to Monday Night Live chat. And Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship. All of this and more. By the way, follow me on Instagram at @JoinTheRoyalWe. You can find all of this down in the description box, and I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.